Ladies and gentlemen and others, welcome to my channel. Bear with me while I come clean about how I feel about the latest Dove ad. Context is always important, so let's watch the ad first before I comment on it. I think everybody around the world is sick of America's culture war. It doesn't matter what the topic is, it always seems like somebody on the opposing side will immediately try to set the internet on fire.
Yeah, how to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned?
Oh, sorry, I guess that's what freedom of speech is. Which is why I wasn't surprised at all when I saw this ad come across my feed, as well as the way that people responded to it. Most of the responses has been as wild and crazy as you'd expect. And there's also a large air of I'm personally aggrieved about the way that people are giving their feedback on this ad. If someone just pointing out that they're underrepresented online is enough to make you put out a video whining and crying about it, then exactly how small is your purposely misrepresenting the ad campaign and claiming that Dove wants to make women characters look ugly now is also disingenuous. It says more about the way that you view the world than what's actually going on here. But if this ad has made you feel personally offended and you're clutching your pearls, then you need to harden the fuck up, buttercup.
Snap out of it!
If you're wondering why I'm adding my voice to the discourse, it's because I feel that most of the discussion up to now has lacked nuance. Also, my background is in design, and I did used to work in advertising. So my response is less from the perspective of having my fifis hurt and more from the perspective of I just don't think that from a design or an advertising perspective that this ad works at all. Whether we like to hear it or not, if we have a bias, we are often unaware of that bias. Whether it's our society or whether it's our experiences, these things inform the way that we act in the world and the way that we react to the world. Maybe this is one of those topics where men and women won't see eye to eye. Maybe men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But hey, people from Dove...
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Now, full disclaimer, I'm not female despite my sultry tones, so this ad definitely isn't aimed at me. I'm also not here to dispute the accuracy of any of the claims that Dove would have made. I'm sure that they did their research. I want to do a comparison with another ad that even 5 or 6 years later still comes back to me and still has an impact on how I view the world. Now, I do think this is a fair comparison. Both campaigns are aimed at a largely female audience, and both campaigns also address societal issues that women face.
Hi, Aaron. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. My hair. Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
The Always Alter ad is thought-provoking and it also presents a good story. It asks the participants to perform a certain act and then it leaves it up to them to do it without any kind of direction, instead allowing them to do it as informed by their own perceptions. So when they asked to explain afterwards why they did it the way that they did it, they had a loss for words. They realized that they have a bias. And so do we, as the audience. When then being given an opportunity to redo the task as themselves, they do it completely differently. And there's a reason why. It doesn't even matter that they're female, or maybe it matters more that they're female. When they were asked to do it like a girl, they immediately bought into the societal expectations of what a girl would be. This challenges us as the viewer, and it challenges our own perceptions of what like a girl would be. And in my case at least, it helped me to realize that that perception was part of the way that I viewed the world. Ultimately, that is what any good story should do. It should make you reassess yourself, just a little bit. There's no such challenge from the Dove ad. It simply presents a situation of a character doing some actions, taking a break, and then deciding to do the action in a different way. And there is no introspection, there is no deeper thought, there is no catalyst for her to change the ways that she's always done things. There's no great revelation for the character, there's no great revelation for us as the audience. It seems to be saying to me, change is easy. Just look at yourself and go, I'm not happy with this, I'm going to change it. That's really not how life works for most people. Why is she changing? Don't know, don't care, but she's changing. You go, girl power. Every single person that participated in the Always Ultra ad had a character arc. When they walked in, they believed one thing, and when they walked out, their perception of the world had been slightly altered. And that's even true for the audience as well. The Dove ad changes absolutely nothing. It's telling us that we should change, that we should see the world differently, that we should give people opportunities, but it makes no case for us actually doing that. If you look at the picture of her and the monster, for instance, that implies that her and the monster are friends, and the monster also knows what her actual appearance is. That means what they're doing is purely performative. But if it's purely performative, then why put up the act in the first place? If your actions are just performative, then your choice doesn't mean anything. That means you could have chosen to change your mind at any stage. There's a whole bunch of bad storytelling decisions that have been made here. Why is she dressed in the corset of societal expectations, which is too damn on the nose anyway? Has she made that decision herself? Has that decision been made for her by an external force? Is she just an actress that's play acting? If she decided to dress in the corset of societal expectations, then that's on her. That was her decision. So she did have agency and she did have choice. If an external force is forcing her to wear the corset of societal expectations, then it's not as simple as just saying, I will change my mind. Then you need a catalyst for her to change her mind. If she's just an actress portraying a role, then none of this really matters, does it? This is absolutely lazy storytelling. Dove the company and Girls in Gaming seems to be conflating their own actions with that of the character in the game, because they as companies decided to take action and to do something about underrepresentation of women in gaming. They are making a change or attempting to. That doesn't mean that your character within the game or the character within the ad can then just be seen in exactly the same light. It doesn't work that way. We should all just be careful that we don't keep on pushing the idea that appearance is an important part of who a person is. This, of course, is another area where this ad falls down. I do know that there is a perception that gamers are a toxic bunch. However, most gamers I know are more concerned about what your character can actually do and less concerned about how your character actually looks. Of course, you can buy cosmetics in games to make your character look better, but a lot of the times we're more interested in buying items that will actually improve your stats and make you a better character within the game itself. And this is what Dove is missing out on. If your character is actually capable of defeating that monster within the game, then it doesn't matter what that character actually looks like. Samus Aran from the Metroid games is a perfect example of this. Most gamers don't like or dislike the character because of her gender. In the original game, unless you finish the game in under 5 hours, you wouldn't even get the gender reveal at the end of the game. Players liked the character because the character itself worked, because the character within the context of the game allowed them to finish the game while having a good time. For sure, a character like Bayonetta is either aesthetically pleasing or overly sexualized depending on who you speak to. However, I think most players are actually playing the game because the character absolutely slays. In the broader context of the actual campaign itself, I'm very aware that Dove was using real people as models for the actual avatars within the games, so I don't want my next comment to come across as me being misogynistic or hating on people. The truth is, these people have never seen themselves portrayed within games, and I understand that they do want to see somebody that is a bit more representative of themselves. And if what ended up being put into the game is something more broadly representative, then I could definitely understand it. But when you're putting a character that is exactly yourself within the game, it does sound a little bit like narcissism to me. That's exactly why I don't play the game Dad of Boy. I'm already a bald old bearded bastard with anger issues in real life. I don't need to see that in my games. It might be worth pointing out that most gamers actually do gaming to escape their own reality. We already know what real life is like. We don't want to live that inside our games. This Dove ad though tells us, no, we don't want to escape to a fantasy world. We want to bring our reality into that fantasy world. Not only that, we also want to impose our reality on the world and everybody else that plays in that world. If the past couple of years have taught us anything, it's that nobody likes self-insert characters.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
Sure, the representation of you, the person who inserted the character, but for the rest of us, none of us can connect to those characters. They're too specific. Perhaps Dove could have taken a more fact-based approach. Instead of stating that 74% of women feel underrepresented, rather look at statistical analysis of the gaming industry. How many women play games? How many female characters are in games? How many of these characters are overly sexualized? How many alternate body types are shown? These are facts that you can work with, and it puts it in a different playing field. Now it's no longer about feelings, but this is a reality of how the gaming industry works. There you go, sweetie. I just mansplained it to you. Also, what I just said wasn't meant to be condescending or sexist, so don't worry your pretty little head about it. But in all seriousness though, a fact-based approach would have worked better. Most games have a million sliders that you can push about until you get a character that looks exactly how you want them to look, and I think that's to answer that need for representation. So maybe part of the problem in how Dove approached this whole campaign was the fact that they just don't have a proper concept of what modern gaming is all about. Ultimately, I'm very glad that Dove has done this because it needed to be done. There definitely is a lack of representation. It is just the execution of all of this that has gone completely wrong, and that's what's gotten people so upset about this ad. We all have biases. I know that I do. The Always Ultra ad kicked me in the feels and made me feel like a piece of shit. Not because I was a misogynist or I treated women badly in the past, but I did grow up in a country where discrimination was legalized, so what the hell does that say about me? That's why this kind of stuff is so insidious. If you're not affected by it, you just won't see it. Not everything in society is there for our good. Sometimes we all buy into a common belief that is actually negative for each individual person within that society. Having said that, I also can't defend this ad because it's just not good advertising. The ad lacks creativity, it doesn't have a clear concept, and it also doesn't communicate its ideas clearly. The only thing this ad makes me think is, what the hell was in that cocaine that these ad executives were sniffing off that stripper's when they came up with this idea? Here's a thought for everyone on both sides of this argument. How about if you don't like something, then just don't use it? So if you don't like a character looking in a specific way, then don't play with that character. It's as simple as that. That should make everybody happy. I'm genuinely interested in knowing what you think about all of this, so please leave me a comment down below. Am I just not getting this ad? Like it if you liked what I had to say, dislike it if you disliked what I have to say. Please give me a share, please give me a subscribe. It all helps to feed the beast.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.